Joining us now, the ranking member of House Budget. He's Congressman Jason Smith, along with market pro Frances Stacy from Optimal Capital. Thanks for spending time with us. It's good to see you both. Okay, Congressman, first to you. Politico reporting President Biden behind the scenes is, quote, seething that his polls are now worse than Trump. You know, Congressman, Biden was supposed to be the anti-Trump, and now Biden's going to get out and go on Jimmy Kimmel Live. How is messaging going to fix policy problems?
It's not. The messaging is not the problem. It's the policy. Since day one, Biden and Washington Democrats, they've created one crisis after another while ignoring the concerns of the American people, Liz. When Joe Biden and Washington Democrats got one-party rule over Washington, their first priority was to pass a $2 trillion spending bill that has now fueled inflation, the highest in 40 years. We've seen gas prices like what was the lead-in. It's doubled since he's taken office. And then he tried to blame Putin. However, gas prices were already up 75% before Putin's invasion. Inflation was up 7.5% before Putin's inflation. It's a disaster. They need to change their policies.
You know, Francis, to what the congressman is saying, now the White House is talking about dialing back Trump's tariffs on China's goods in order to bring down inflation. That feels like nickel and dime. I mean, those are big, but it's a monetary issue. It's a government debt borrowing issue. 2/3 of Americans disapprove how Biden is handling inflation. That's a 16 percentage point drop from nearly a year ago.
No, the problem is it's treating the symptoms. It's not treating the cause. And it's like, you know, giving somebody a pain pill for cancer. It's not going to be workable. And furthermore, China is one of the only economies that's currently in easing mode per their central bank. And so now we're giving them, you know, they have the advantage of the fact that they're easing while we're tightening. And now we're going to give them further advantage by getting rid of the tariffs at a time when the United States and China is really not in a good place and very competitive for, you know, dominating in the global world space. And China might be sort of, you know, working with Russia. I mean, it's just a very sticky issue. So yeah. I think that if it were going to be really effective, that would be one thing. But just mechanically speaking, it's treating a symptom and not the cause. And furthermore, as far as, you know, Biden getting out and talking about inflation, he just has to say something to the American people that resonates as true. And that's
it. You know what Francis just said? Francis just hit the nail on the head. You know, it's the messaging that's bad, right? Congressman, the White House is in disarray. We've got Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo falsely claiming wages are going up. But then Labor Secretary Walsh says, no, they're not. Wage gains are down after inflation. And now we've got new Biden topspin. He claims lower job growth is a good thing. Watch this.
We aren't likely to see the kind of blockbuster job reports month after month like we had over this past year. But that's a good thing.
Wages are increasing. The labor market is strong. People have not been thrown out of their homes.
Well, wage growth didn't really grow this month that much, so we didn't see a big growth like we've seen in other areas.
Okay, you know, they're all over the map. Again, it's like trying to follow a gnat in a hurricane with this messaging, Congressman. So inflation is transitory. Now it's Putin's fault. Afghanistan was a success. The border is not in crisis. I mean, let's show Biden's whoppers. He's now claiming he told the U.S. Naval Academy that he was basically nominated to go to Annapolis. He wasn't. He graduated from the University of Delaware. He's making whoppers on whoppers. He's saying that U.S. savings rate is going up and that U.S. families' debt are going down. That's not true. Families have, you know, basically more debt. It's up $1.7 trillion since 2019, and the savings rate is the lowest since 2008. Congressman.
Liz, the American people, they don't need more press conferences. If Biden's lips are moving, you can't really believe what he's saying. No amount of speeches will normalize $5 or $6 gallons of gas or a 40-year high inflation. What we need to do is to stop this reckless spending that is driving up the cost of goods. But what do you see Chuck Schumer and the Democrats and Joe Biden trying to do? They're still trying to pass a $5 trillion spending bill. You think that they would learn that their policies is what put us in this position, but they don't. It's all about rewarding their political friends, allies, and donors in all of this pork barrel spending.
So what the congressman said, Francis, where do you come down to this? Because the White House will say it's the pandemic, it's Putin, It's a supply chain crisis. And now we've got talk that Trump may run again. You know, Trump did hand a V-shaped recovery to President Biden. We don't know if Trump is yet to announce. We've got also DeSantis talking. There's word DeSantis may run, Ron DeSantis, and also Mike Pence. So where do you come down on what the congressman just said in light of all of that?
Right. So, you know, as a financial person, inflation is mechanical. Inflation is the ratio of money in circulation to goods and services. And what happened during the pandemic is we threw a lot of money in circulation and the goods and services and that production was cut off. So you have to explain to the American people what happened to the ratio during the pandemic and exactly how mechanically you're going to bring the ratio back into balance. And that is going to resonate as true.
Okay, Congressman Jason Smith, Frances Stacy, you were both terrific. Thanks so much for joining us. It was great to have you both on.